What's going on, guys? I am back and in action from having COVID, and we're good to go. Today, we are going to be taking some questions from viewers where I'm actually going to go through a bunch of comments that I haven't responded to and just rapid fire answer some stuff that you guys are probably asking questions about and wondering. This video is sponsored by LaVivid Hair. They're helping support education inside of this community. If you want to order a LaVivid system or multiple systems, use Jake15 down below. You'll get the link and that'll save you 15% off any stock order that you have, as many units as you want. So let's just jump into it, shall we? So this first question right here that we got is from John Perone. It says, "Hey Jake, I live in Maui and swim and surf at least 3 times a day. Do these things hold up in the water? And by the way, you were super handsome with and without." Thanks to the last one. I appreciate that, John. So what you're asking right now is specifically about salt water, because you're talking about swimming and surfing in Maui. First off, I'm jealous of you for actually living inside of Maui, Hawaii. That's such a beautiful area. You got mountains, you got the beach. Is it going to hold up with swimming and surfing? So here's the thing, right? With salt water, you have salt, right? Salt has a tendency to dry out hair, and it also leaves kind of like a minerally deposit on hair. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to probably shower and shampoo your hair a little bit more often than other people. Is that going to make it impossible for you to wear and to use? Absolutely not. However, it may dry out your hair system a little bit sooner than other people. So you're gonna want to make sure that you are really conditioning it, that you are taking care of it, that you are putting some color depositing conditioner inside of your hair system to make sure that it's not stripping the color out, shampooing it and getting it wet so much. It's totally possible, not something that's really that big of a deal, but just some things that you got to know if you're going to do this. So, and if you're wondering questions about like, can the bond hold up? Absolutely, it can. You'll want to stay away from water bonds. You want to go with something acrylic that can hold up to water and sweat and things like that. Walker Ultra Hold is always a great choice for something like that. You want to go for a bond that has a stronger duration of life. This next one is from Randy Rotyro. So it says, "Good day, I'm planning to do this hair system. How does it feel on the scalp? Is it hot when this wig is on your scalp? Can you explain to me before I do this? Thank you so much." So number one, how does it feel on the scalp? Well, when you first get it, it's definitely something that feels like a barrier between your skin and your actual, hand, if you're feeling that, or the wind or anything like that. So it is something that you're going to notice, but eventually it actually becomes kind of like a second sense. It feels like your skin. I honestly don't really notice the difference between my scalp and the hair system anymore, and I'm wearing a poly right now. You can feel a little bit of the mesh on a lace system. It's a little bit more noticeable, but that's because you actually have lace on your skin. There's a texture to it. It's a little, I want to say, grittier. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's something you can feel, but it's something that you really, really get used to. Poly is nice because it can adhere directly to your scalp, and it can like bond and hold to your scalp. So sometimes what can happen with lace is it can actually kind of bunch up, and you'll notice that and you'll feel it, and it's not the best feeling in the world. Like if you're laying down on a couch and you put your head down on the couch, like some of the material can kind of bunch up like in the center. Nothing that anybody would see, nothing that anybody would notice, but it's something that you can feel. Kind of feels a little bit off. So with a poly though, you don't really feel that kind of thing. It starts to feel like your natural skin, just a little less sensitive, if that makes sense. And is it hot when you wear a hair system on your scalp? Well, it can be. A poly is a little bit hotter than a lace system or a hybrid system where there's poly and then lace on the inside. Poly is a little bit hotter during the summer, so it will feel, a little bit hot during the summer. You might actually feel a little bit itchy. I've experienced both of these things, but honestly, I don't know if I've just gotten used to it. But poly used to make me feel very, very itchy when I was working out and I was in the gym. Now I don't actually feel that. Could be because it's winter right now, so it's a little bit cooler. But I still am doing high intensity interval workouts where I'm getting my heart rate and my temperature raising through the roof. So I gotta say that I think it's gotten better. So I think it's something that you just have to experience and kind of go along with. All right, next up we have Ali Wariak. He says, I want to get into this. Please tell me how much a yearly cost to pursue this choice is. I know it depends on product quality. Of course, I'm thinking $1,500 a year USD to budget for this. For installing and maintaining myself. Any help would be appreciated. So can you do it for $1,500 USD a year if you're going to maintain it yourself and install it yourself? Absolutely, you can. That comes down to, let's just say that you spend $300 per system, which is a little bit on the high side right now. So if you're looking at 5 units a year, which is basically one every 7 weeks, which is something that's totally doable, something that's totally achievable. You can probably get 3 to 4 months out of a hair system, especially even when you're new to it. If you take care of it, you can even get more out of that. There's people I've talked to, there's interviews on this channel. People are getting 6, 8, someone even said they had a year on a hair system. So you can do it for that cheap, and it is not something that you should steer away from if you have this kind of budget for it. Tapes and things like that will cost you maybe $100, $200 over the course of a year. Probably less though, more like 100 or 70. So this is something that's totally possible on this guy's budget. This is Andre Rosca. Bro, your hair looks worse and worse. This wheat look date scent suit you. Hope you get well. Thanks for the videos. Thanks, buddy. This comment is from Amy Bainbridge. I think all guys who have this insecurity should do this. I'm a stylist and I want to start doing this. But my question would be, how do you react to people after you've gotten it done? How do you react to people after you've gotten it done? Well, I don't react. I just go about living my life. How do other people react? Well, everybody that I've told has actually been really, really happy for me because they knew it's something that I suffered with and something that I was kind of insecure about. So they were like, man, looks really good, looks pretty natural. If this makes you feel good about yourself, do it. She goes on to say, I'm sure your friends and family are asking you questions. Girl ties wigs, so I can see you guys doing this as well. Also, if you start dating someone, you'll eventually want to tell them. Is that awkward? So is it awkward with friends and family? No, every single one of my family knows, and most of my friends know. Is it awkward with the girls and if you're dating someone? Not really. I mean, if someone actually cares about you, they're not going to care about you wearing a hair system. If they're attracted to you, they like the hair system, obviously didn't determine enough to have a date with you, right? So why would they continue doing that? And eventually, a relationship just isn't about if someone has real hair or not. There's examples of men out there who date women who are wearing a wig or a full scalp prosthetic. How would it make you feel if those men didn't want to date women anymore because they wear those wigs or full scalp prosthetics? Be incredibly shallow and insensitive, and you'd probably hang and slaughter men for it, right? Why should women do the same? But she goes on to say this is something that she wants to do as a stylist. She wants to help people. These questions she feels would be asked by a client, and she's absolutely right. Like a lot of men suffer, and they think about if a man, what the ramifications are, what people are going to think about it. Know that if a man is confident in the decision he's making, he's a man of action, and he wants to just look better and feel better about himself, shouldn't let what other people think stop him. This isn't that crazy of a thing. It's not that wild. We need to destigmatize it, and you get to be on the front lines of that and help men realize that it's not a big deal at all. Next up, this question is from Vince Leary. He says, hi Jake, this is all new to me, but I'm looking into getting a system. I'm curious how long you can wear one without taking it off. I'm assuming there's different factors, but just in general. So this, like you said, there's different factors, depends on the person, body chemistry, how much exercise, how much you're sweating, how hot the temperature is outside, all of these factors. Some people go over a month without changing their bond. Some people go really 3 or 4 days. I can get 10 days to 2 weeks while doing CrossFit, sweating, high intensity interval training every single day. I can get 10 days to 14 days and still have a good bond. I mean, it's definitely a little bit looser. Sometimes, the hairline starts coming up, but 10 to 14 days is totally possible for me. And if I wanted to touch up the hairline, I could probably go 3 weeks, but it's just not worth it to me. I'd rather just redo the whole thing, have it feel really tight and secure everywhere at once. This is from David Alsh. How long does a poly system last on average for you? Depends on the poly system. Poly systems come in different thicknesses, all the way down to about like 0.02 millimeter to 0.03, 4, 5 0.04, 0.05 millimeter, up into the 0.08 to like 10 range, right? How long will they last you? The biggest factor that will keep you from having a polysystem for a long time is more so actually the base ripping. So you have to be careful of that, but if you're careful of that, they can last a really, really long time. I mean, months, right? Like I'm using this hair system now probably for about 3 months, and it feels like it can go on for quite a bit longer. I actually think it looks really, really good at the current moment. You just gotta manage it. You gotta take care of the hair. That's the other thing, right? And to take care of the hair, you gotta make sure that it's not losing its color, or you're getting it treated. You gotta make sure the hair is conditioned so it doesn't get super dry and flaky and just feel bad. And if you do those things, they can last a long time. This unit honestly could last me a very, very, very long time. So this next question is from Alum22. What is the product you are using for maintaining color and conditioning, and what are you using daily? Well, this is what I use for my color restoration. It's Back to Natural color depositing shampoo. It's dark natural ash brown or blonde, excuse me, but they make a full suite of colors all the way from like basically super light blonde all the way into reds and blacks and browns and everything like that. So that's primarily what I use. What about using it on the daily? I don't use this on the daily because I don't wash my hair on the daily. What I actually do is use a product that I'm kind of developing right now to keep the hair moisturized and silky soft and smooth and stuff, and keep it kind of bouncy. Other than that, I just don't wash it a lot, and I just use this Back to Natural stuff. Now this question right here is from Josh Guzman. He says, hey Jake, I've been wearing a system for almost 3 weeks now. I love it and wanted to thank you for all your videos. Thanks, man. Appreciate you watching them because they really inspire me. I do have a question in terms of working out though. I sweat a lot typically, and I'm worried that it might affect the bond, tape, and life of the system. Is there any product procedures I should keep in mind? Also, I notice I itch when I sweat, which makes me wonder. Okay, so if this is something that you're new to and you're feeling an itch when you're sweating, that's completely natural. Your body's getting used to basically having a hair system on your scalp. You can alleviate this. What I actually did for a long time was I started using hybrid systems, poly mixed with lace. That way it wasn't trapping the heat underneath, and the itch went away immediately after that. I experienced itch problems for the first like 2 months, and then after that I got rid of them instantly by switching over to a hybrid. I don't use it anymore, and I haven't used them for about 6 months, but totally doable, totally usable in the short term. Your body kind of gets used to like having something on the scalp, and that itch does go away, but itch can also be a sign that like you're feeling really, really hot under your hair system. So that's something to be mindful of. In terms of is working out, sweating, all this kind of stuff going to affect the bond and tape duration? Yeah, it is. If you don't sweat at all, you live a super sedentary life, you might be able to go like a month or more with a hair system without changing, without having any lifts or anything like that. If you are super duper active, you live in a hot environment, you maybe go like 7 to 10 to 14 days. So, it's just something you got to keep in mind. Is it going to affect the life of the system? Well, the more that you wash it, that's going to affect the life of the system, and keeping knots out of it, which you can do by just brushing it and using good product, can help keep the knots out of it. Those are the main two things. You don't want the color to degrade. You don't want to lose a lot of hair from the system, which can happen from knotting. And other than that, you just got to take care of it. So anyways, guys, hopefully some of this information right here was helpful for you, answer some of the questions that you're having. I'll continue to do this type of content in this series right here. If you like it, if it's something that you find valuable, so let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that jazz, all that stuff. And thank you once again to Livivid for sponsoring this video. We will see you soon.